Hello, in this video we will discuss how to sort data in Tableau. To do this, let's open a new worksheet. We are still working with the Tableau Superstore data. Let's go ahead and make a quick chart that we are then going to sort. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do product category, subcategory, and this time I want to see sum of profit. There are multiple ways to sort data in Tableau. The quickest one would be to go either by the axis or you have these sort buttons on top. So either you could just do, for example, if you need to do sort by ascending order or increasing, you could just click this. So it will sort the data by that. Or you could just click descending order and it says by sum of profit within the category. So basically the numbers. If I do that, this will sort it in decreasing or descending order. Other ways of sorting can be going to the axis. For example, if I want to sort by profit, I go to the profit axis. You see this little button here, you click on that. One time it will be ascending order sort. If you do it again, then this will sort the data by the order in which the data is appearing. Another time, if you do it, this will sort it descending order. So just by clicking this multiple times, depending upon what you want, you can do that. Same thing, so you could do this for profit. You can also do the same thing by going to the other fields. For example, for subcategory sorting, I can do the same thing here. So this time this is descending order or opposite alphabet order. Then you can do this again. This time this is A to Z or alphabetical order. You can do the same thing by sorting to the categories. Or if you click on this button, it says, do you want data source order, alphabet, or do you want by another field? If you want data source order, we can do that. If you want alphabetic, let's try. I think it's the same. If you again click on it, by field. So the only other field than this is sum of profit. We can do that. So all of this is one field that can be used for sorting. If you wanted to have multiple fields in sorting, for example, like nested field, you can click on nested field. Right now we have only one option, sum of profit. You can use that. If you have multiple different types of data, you can also use nested sorting to do that. Another option for sorting would be that you can go to the rows and columns, and whatever pill that you see, you can click on that pill and it will give you all different options. One of those options will be sort. Click on that. Then it shows you that you can again do it either by data source order, alphabet, field, manual, or nested. So let's try. We have seen the data source order, we have seen alphabet. Let's try by a field. So it says by field, ascending, descending. Which field do you want? Do you want category, price, a lot of other fields that you can use, profit, and then you can also have what aggregation to apply to that field. Another option is manually. So if you want to do manually, then you can just bring any of the fields without being in any specific order. Manually, you can select a field, bring it down or up. So let's take supplies and I want to move it all the way down. So if I think that's where it should belong, I can put it there and close. So manually, if you wanted to do it in any particular fashion, you can do that too. Let's do one more thing real quick. So if I want to clear any sorting on that field, I can do clear sort. That would undo whatever we just did. Then go back to the sort field. This time, let's try nested. So the first field that you have here is profit. But again, if you want, let's say, to have a different field, you can do that. Let's try a different field. Let's try category. and do like a count of category, and you will see a different kind of sorting can be done. Let's go ahead and rename this worksheet. I'm going to call it sorting example. So that was sorting. The next thing we are going to work on is filter. You can filter data in a variety of ways in Tableau. For this, I'm going to go ahead and plot some data. So let me do profit again. And this time, I'm doing different manufacturers. So sum of profit by different manufacturers. And so let's have this data that we have. So you can clearly see who is your best manufacturer in terms of profit, who is your worst manufacturer in terms of profit. One thing I would like to show here is you can see as you go down the list, there are plenty of data points here for us to see. So just you can see, I'll start out by sorting the data in ascending order. Oh, yeah, so this is descending order. That's ascending order because these are the negative values, so losses here. Okay, let's say I don't want to see my loss, and I am only interested in looking at the profit values. If that is the case, what you could do is, if you could manually just wanted to exclude a few points, you could go on, select this, and right click and be able to say either you want to just keep these values or just exclude these values. So let's say I wanted to exclude these values. You will see my chart has been modified so that now it is showing only the positive values. But then I hope you notice that I did some visual calculation, or some visual perception of which one is positive, which one is negative. That might not be perfect, but I kind of did something in there. Now let's say I want to exclude all of these and just interested in the bigger values. So what I could also do is select some values and be able to say that just keep those values. Okay, so if I say keep those, whatever I've highlighted, that's the only thing that's going to stay in my data. Other data points are going to be filtered out or excluded. That does not mean that they have gone away from the table. They have just gone outside of this selection or this particular view of data that I have created. If I create another sheet and use the same manufacturer list, it will give me all manufacturers again. So what you would notice is, based on what I have done, in the filters, a new field has been added about manufacturer, and then I can go on there, edit filter, and see there are certain ones which are checked, means are selected, the others are not checked, not selected. Okay, so one way to filter is either keep only or exclude. So let's just keep all the way only top 10 profit values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's up until IBCO. So what I'm going to do is, and you can do that with me, just select these values, the top or the highest 10 values, and just say keep only. Everything else is going to be excluded. That's one way to do it. Okay, let's rename this as keep exclude filter. Okay, so that was the example for you to use keeping or excluding. Let's make another chart very similar to this. This time I'm going to do product subcategory and manufacturer. Then again I'm taking sum of profit. So you can see I have product subcategories within which I have all the different manufacturers, and then my data is shown. Now let's see I want to do filtering, but this time not by keeping or excluding. Let's do another way of filtering. So what I would do is I am going to filter by subcategories, okay? So let's take the product subcategory and I'm going to drag that to the filters and options open for me. It says you are filtering by subcategory. Do you want to select from this list? Which categories do you want? Which categories do you not want? If you do that, that would be like manually filtering it. Let's say right now I'm saying yes, select all of them. Then, okay, apply. Or I can exclude some of them, whatever I want to do. So in my case, I'm going to select everything for now. Then go ahead and apply and hit OK. So a filter has been applied, but right now everything is in the view. So what you could do is say show filter. Doing that would show the filter on the side. Now, as you can see, the subcategory filter is being shown on the side. As the user goes to the view or the show, they still have this visible to them and they can say, hey, I don't want everything, I just want accessories. You can see only accessories. Then they'll say, oh, I want appliances and accessories. Okay, you can see both of them. You can keep on checking any other field, checking or unchecking whatever you want to do, or you want to see everything. So doing this gives more interactivity to the users, more freedom to them so that they can customize what they want to see. So let's press escape to get out of this view. So right now you can see everything. Another thing I want you to notice, right now this filter is showing like a list. So what you could do it if you don't like this view and it's kind of crowded. So let's go ahead, click on this arrow. It shows single value list. It means all these drop down values will be shown as a list, but you will be able to select one value at a time only. If you do that, that's how it looks. Only allows you to select one of them. Another alternate view for this filter is that you could say single value drop down. Means it will look like this, not showing all the values, but you have an option to go drop it down. But then you can only select one value at a time. You can't do two values. Another possible view is single value slider. This is more suitable if you have like a range of values, numerical values. But here you can see the example. If you click on the next value, it will keep on moving. Or you can just do the slider back and forth. It's not so useful with categorical variable, but if it were number variable like 1 through 10, much easier to do a slider. Now, so all of these three were single value list. We can also do multi-value list, which allows us to use multiple values at the time, what we had originally. So you can do as many categories as you want. If you don't like this and think that this is too crowded, you could do multiple values drop down. So the look of this filter is clean. Unless you drop it down, you don't see all the values. Another option for this would be a custom list. So you will have certain values in there. So I can go just chair. I can go just fastener. So you will see, depending upon what it is, you can get certain values. And this has to be chosen from the user. One thing that is really interesting is wildcard match. So let's select that. Instead of giving you option, it lets you type in the words. Let's say I'm typing the word A, N, K and press enter. Doesn't match with anything. Okay, no problem. Let's just do T, enter. And anything that matches a T on the subcategory like art, like the fasteners, storage would be there. If I want to do ART, so you will see in the subcategory only art is there, other things are gone. So basically lets you search for substrings in data. For now, I'm just going to leave it at multi-value drop-down because this is very flexible, allows you to choose as many categories as you want, and still kind of clean because it's not taking too much screen space. Let's go ahead, rename this, and I'm going to call this filter. So the field that was used for filter here was a categorical field, as you can see. So blue pill, categorical variable. In the next chart, I'm going to use a filter on a number field. So let's create a chart. This time I'm using customer segment, and I'm going to use customer location. So let's do different states. And within those, I'm just going to look at profit. So sum of profit for every customer segment for every state. Now, in this example, I'm going to show you that I'm going to do sum of profit in my filter. So let's get sum of profit in the filter. And it says, what do you want? Do you want all the values? It means each individual value on profit. Or do you want a sum or maximum or minimum? So let's do a sum of profit. Now remember, profit or sum of profit is a numerical variable. So look at the range. It goes from minus 20,596 to 39,640. It's a huge range. So what you could do is, it lets you do a range of values which we have at this time, or you can select based on one of them, like at least this much, and you can specify at least how much, or at most how much means you specify the upper limit, or you can do other customizations like show me the values which are not null, or show me the values which are null. So something like that. Right now we see all the values null, not null. So let's do range of values. Then you can have the option to do all the values in the database or only relevant values, because in this huge range, not every number is present in the database. Okay, so let's do only relevant values. Apply it, okay. So now I'm filtering on a numerical field. Once again, I'm going to do show filter. So with numerical fields, it's useful to have a slider like I showed you before. You can do range, at least, at most, if you have a numerical field. So now it makes sense for me to move the slider. If I want to see only positive values, so I can do something like this and then move the slider, or I should be able to type it in. So I only want to see positive values. Or I could say, hey, you know what? I just want all the values which are greater than 20,000. Okay, so with that, you can do a filtering based on a numerical field as one of your filters. So let's go ahead, rename this as numerical filter. What I did is use the numerical data, which is a continuous filter, because all of this data is continuous. So with that, let's go ahead and do one more example on filtering. In this example, I'm going to use multiple fields to filter. So let's create a new worksheet, and then I want to have order ID and then sales for that particular order, sum of sales. And let's say I also want to filter this by order date. So I'm going to put order date in my filters. The option tells me that do I want a range of date or relative date, or just go by different quarter, year. So you see some of these are green, indicating these are going to be continuous dates. Or you will see some of these options are blue, indicating these are going to be discrete. So let's do first the continuous dates. I will do a range of date, and then it tells me what date to what other, so start date and end date. Let's just leave it at that. And then I will do a show filter on this one. So it gives me a range of different dates. So if I want, so this is going all the way from 2018 all the way to 2021. So I can adjust the slider and it will show me any specific date range that I have selected. So that's adding one of the filters here. Now, this time I'm also going to do another date and bring that to my filter shelf. And now I'm just going to do like a year. And next, so right now let me select all of them, apply and OK. So you see one of the order date is the entire order date, and then the other one is a discrete date. And let me go ahead and do a show filter on this one. Now here I can choose, do I want all the dates or do I want certain year? Let's see, I want the latest year. So you will see as I'm selecting this, my data is going to be changed. So multiple ways of doing date. I am also trying to show you in the same example that we have several order IDs. Let's say I want to focus on a particular customer segment. So I can also add segment in here, and then for now I'll select all of them and then show filter, and then I can filter based on which ones did I want. So you will see that as I'm selecting or deselecting data, more data is coming up or less data is being shown. Let's go ahead, rename this field as multiple filters. So that's all we are going to do in this example. Let's go ahead, save this